Hello, I'm Diego Don Juan, and yeah, I'm the real Diego Don Juan, and I'm going to start blogging on this video channel as much as possible. I had a crazy life, man, a crazy life, and I'm planning on making this my first vlog. And for my first vlog, I want to talk about the gift and the curse. This is something that I believed in for quite a while now. This is like a theory of mine that I've been mulling over, building in my head for quite a few years now. The gift and the curse. And I believe that everything is a gift and a curse. And what I would like to bring up for this example for myself as a great gift and a great curse is my family situation. Of course, a family could be a great gift. That's what we are. We're social beings. We're mammals, and we're social mammals. And babies need to be raised pretty much into adults. And that's not very common in the animal kingdom or the mammal kingdom. But this is what we are. We are social creatures. We are meant to be brought up and raised, and we learn from our mothers. Like so many mammals, they learn from their mothers, but not like us. We stay with our mothers for a long time. You know, we learn language, complex language, and we learn how to socially interact. And this is a great gift, you know, especially for males. You learn a lot from your fathers. And fathers have a different angle than mothers. Fathers, they want to breed into their children independence, and the mother is going to try to build her flock. She's building you up to be a part of her and what she is and what she represents. And the father, he tries to teach you how to do things. I think the perfect example is with my little boy. I drive trucks, and I don't see my son a lot. You know, I raised him basically the first 3 years of his life. And I was basically, I guess you could say, a stay-at-home dad. And me and his mom, it just didn't work out. I got laid off, lost my job, and unemployment ran out. And, you know, I didn't get with the right woman to be going through that type of situation at the time. So me and her broke up, but I always was a part of his life. And now he's 6, and one of the last times I got a chance to visit him, he wanted me to teach him how to climb a tree, and I wanted to teach him how to climb a tree. You know, when it comes to physical things, that's something that I've always taught my son easily. Like I say, I raised my son until he was about 3, and one thing that I had a real hard time teaching my son was language. I think that women have a gift to teach their children how to talk way more than men. But as far as like the physical, you know, I taught my son how to walk, taught my son how to use the bathroom, taught my son how to run, and, you know, all these physical things he picked up really quick with me. And anyway, carry on to the story. I was trying to teach him how to climb a tree, and his mother came out, and I got him up in the tree, and, you know, I'm standing right there, and she freaks out, you know. He's going to hurt himself. You can't be doing that. And, you know, she was so afraid that he would hurt himself. And me as a father, I always expected him to hurt himself. I wanted him to go out there. You know, and that's the difference between mothers and fathers for the most part. Now, I was pretty fortunate. My mom, as much as I remember, my mom let me go out there. She let me explore the city. You know, in Chicago, man, it was so much to explore. You know, when I was a kid, we played outside. And my mom didn't baby me a lot. As a matter of fact, I could say that bluntly, my mom didn't baby me. You know, probably by the time I was 8, you know, I knew how to make breakfast, do my laundry, do the dishes, do a lot for myself. You know, I could go days without seeing my mother, and I could take care of myself. My mom had put all that in me, and it wasn't, she didn't hold my hand, but also I learned pretty easy. But with the black community and young black men raised by these black women, unfortunately, they don't want to raise us by themselves, so they can't raise us by themselves, so they go with what we have been taught for generation and generation and generation. Like most African Americans in this country, or black people, however you want to refer to my community, my culture, or whatever, we're descendants of African slaves that were brought to this country. And they were brought to this country, and slavery was such a vital part of the economy that they really worked hard to control slavery and control the slave population. And they did all of these psychological things. They outlawed native languages. They outlawed reading. They outlawed drawing and writing and all these forms of communication. And they didn't want us to communicate amongst ourselves unless we were communicating in the way that they told us to. And the way they told us to communicate was scripturally. When we were given language, we were given the Bible and Christianity. And they always tell us that reading was outlawed. And it was outlawed. Slaves couldn't read. But they usually did have one slave or one African, or sometimes it would be a white person, a poor white person, from what they call the crackers. You look into the history of the crackers. But it would be somebody that taught us the Bible. And not just the Bible, but the American form of Christianity. And that's what we carried on all the way to this day. 400 years later, they took our language, they took our religions, they took our culture, they took our art form to as much as they possibly could. A little bit retained, but they took as much as they possibly could. And I said all that to say this, is religion is what raised me and so many black males that were raised by single black mothers. And this form of Christianity included things like you turn the other cheek against your enemies, you forgive those who hurt you, except in certain instances, you check each other, you fight each other, you beat each other, you beat your children, spare the rod, spoil the child, and all these, they talked to us out of both sides of their neck. They would say, okay, we under the New Testament, the Old Testament doesn't count, except for these rules right here that we want y'all to enforce amongst yourself. And we did that. And most namely is the beating of the children, corporal punishment. And in my case, it turned out pretty severe. My mom didn't have no help. And like I mentioned, she was raised in a foster home. Her foster mother was from the South, old school. And I mean, most people wouldn't even believe me if I started describing the way that my mother was raised. And, even before my mom got born again and saved, before she started going to church again, she still had that, what she was raised with, our foundation, our backbone. And being raised by a single mother, first of all, this is just a test. And this test has failed. But I got to write something up about this. And I will start blogging. And wow.